Hello friends, this is Debbie from the Inspiration Station. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a process video based on a sketch from Susanna Lee. I was asked to participate in 30 Days of Sketches, the best of 30 Days of Sketches over at Christie's Beautiful Life, and the sketch that I was assigned came from Susanna Lee, originally part of the 30 Days of Sketches Series 3. So this is the sketch that I'll be working with. And at first I looked at it and I thought, oh no, I don't use a lot of circles. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but I focused on the title and journaling in the middle and then using the circles to go around the outside. So that's what my plan is. And I wanted to share with you the materials that I've picked out to use. So the first thing that I decided was on my photo. This is my new grandson, Anthony. I believe he was about a week old. Yeah, I think it was a week, maybe 2 weeks old in this photo. So I love this, and this is the one that I'm going to use. I went through and I found this 6x8 pad from My Mind's Eye, which I've absolutely loved this collection, and I've never used it. It's got some great neutral, yet still kind of boyish baby type patterns in it. So I went through and I picked out 5 or 6 here, and this was the one I think I'm going to fussy cut to use to embellish the page because it's a nice neutral, it's flowers but it's neutral colors, so I think that's going to work. And then these were the ones that I picked out that I'll be cutting the circles out of, and also the backs could work too, so I'm not ruling those out either. I just think it's a nice color palette for a baby boy. Then I went to find a background, and as you can tell, this is not pure white, and I found that the Simple Stories Warm White looks like a great match to that. I don't know if you've ever used their Color Vibe textured cardstock, but one side is solid and the other side has a very faint tone-on-tone dot pattern. So I think for this one I'll be using the solid. And I usually frame my layouts, you know, put a mat around them. And so I had picked out these 2 pieces of paper. These came from one of the Hot Buy pads several years ago, I think, called Marsh Flower. And I really liked this grayish brown. I thought it went well with this. And then of course the wood pattern. So both of those came from this paper pad. I'm not sure if I'll use both of them or not, but that's what I pulled to get started. So then, what do I have next? Oh, the alphabets, because of course I need to do my title and my journaling. So I pulled out, both are from Pink Fresh, this blue, which I think will go really nicely, and then this dark gray, which I think picks up here. So we'll see how that works. I may end up having to die cut something instead. I don't really know. We'll see how that goes. To cut the circles, I will be using, let's see, this set here. This is a Totally Tiffany die storage panel. I have her case that these slide into, and they hold a ton of dies, each one of them. So I can't even tell you how many sets are on here. But this set here is from Creative Expressions, and it is their set CED 5528, and they are stitched circles. So the nice thing about this is they stitched on the inside of the circle and on the outside. So if you wanted to use the negative, it would also have stitching to it. So I'm going to use those, I think, for all of my circles. If I needed an in-between size, I might choose one of these, but I think I want to stick with all the stitched ones. So that's what I'm starting with. I'm going to turn off the camera for a moment, organize everything so that I can work with it, and then I will come back with the process. Okay, to get started, the first thing I'm going to do is make my frame style foundation, and to do that, I'm going to cut the papers. The white layer is 11 1/4 by 11 1/4, and the brownish gray page is 11 1/2 by 11 1/2. And I am going to gut this wood grain paper because I use wood grain all the time, and I figure I can use it on another project. I didn't gut the other paper, that brownish gray, because it's not a pattern I particularly like, so I probably won't use it again, and I just figured I might as well just put it on here and use it. Now, I learned a long time ago that when you're layering papers, the easiest way to do it without having it stick down the wrong way is to only remove the backing paper from one side of the tape, one piece of the tape. Line it up at the top or the bottom, whatever side you've done, and then unwrap or peel off the backing on the other sides. That way, if you mess up and you don't get it straight the first time, you only have to fight with one side to get it off. So that's how I do that. I'm going to do the same thing with the white layer and get that put on there. I started to get ready to put this down, and then I remembered I wanted to round the corners. So I pulled out one of my old corner rounders and did that. Just because I think with all the circles on the page, having the corners rounded kind of makes a better transition. Just my opinion on that. It softens the edges. So we're going to get that glued down. And I do have to apologize. I did lose a ton of footage here in the process. I am working with a brand new remote control for my camera, and apparently a lot of the times that I thought I was hitting record, I was actually shutting it off, and vice versa. So I did lose a lot of the footage, but I think you have enough in here that you'll get the idea of what I was doing. I chose to mat the photo on that baby blue paper, which was the back of the blue plaid that's over to the left. I was a little worried I wouldn't have enough of that plaid, but it worked out fine. I cut the rest of the 6x8 papers that I had chosen down to 4 inches and then die cut my circles. Then here you see me fussy cutting some of the flowers. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. I actually shut the camera off and skipped ahead. And then that's where we started losing footage. So hopefully you'll be able to follow along. So I have my circles die cut and my flowers fussy cut. And I'm just going to try, originally I tried to follow the sketch exactly on placement of the different size circles, but I didn't have the exact same sizes and the number of them. So you'll see I spent quite a bit of time kind of fussing around, trying to get the circles so that I didn't have two with the same design on them right next to each other, and getting them, so that they looked good. I did end up cutting a couple of them in half, so that I could spread them out because I want them to look like they're going off of the page. So I was able to put one half, on the right side and one half at the bottom. I had a lot of those flowers setting aside. I only ended up using one of them. So I ended up putting the rest of them into a bag with some scraps that I had and putting them with the paper pad. I'll probably use them on a future layout. So anyway, I'm still fooling around with this, and then I felt like I needed a little bit more of the circles, and there wasn't a lot left of the paper that I had originally cut the 4-inch piece. So I went and grabbed some punches. Oh, this is where we lost the footage. Okay, so I'm on to building my title with the alphabets that I chose. And I just put them on a piece of laminate to keep them, make sure that I have enough. And now you'll see that I have more circles. I think this was after, no, that was still stitched. So I do go and get a bunch of circle punches and start punching out some more. But of course, here we jump to the title that I put on and the subtitle, and you can see where I plan to place the floral. I did put the flower and the photograph up on foam tape. And one of the things that you missed was me inking that flower that I cut out. I used Distress ink in pumice stone, which is a perfect match to that grayish brown, just to make the flower stand out a little bit better onto the page. And here you see me with some circle punches to bring in a few more pieces. I really did just punch those from the scraps that were left over after die cutting. So we'll spend a little more time fooling around trying to get those in place. Truly, that was the hardest part of the whole design, was making the circles look like they belonged, not having too many of them or too few. So we'll just continue on with that. I did look at the sketch, and she also had used sequins. And I normally would not use sequins on a baby page. It's just not my style. My style is very clean and simple, and I pretty much use paper for everything. I very rarely use pre-made embellishments or metals or sequins or things like that. So everything I used usually is die cut or punched. But I did go and find some cute sequins that was sort of a gold. It actually looks more like a glitter, but it wasn't over the top. So you'll see in a minute. I thought I had the footage of me placing the glitter, or not the glitter, the sequins, but that was one of the pieces that got lost. See, apparently I recorded when I didn't want to and didn't record the things that I did want to. Oh well, live and learn, right? So a few more circles here and there. And I'm almost done. I decided I wasn't going to put a lot of journaling on this particular page. I just decided the title and the subtitle. I'm using some foam tape here that is from 3L. I love it because it's not super thick. I don't like a lot of dimension in my albums. I just want a little hint of dimension. Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. I use their tape runner and their foam. So I'm going to put that on the page popped up a little bit. And then I think when I come back, you'll see that I had put the sequins on. Nope, this is just more of that. Oh, I had to make sure that everything was glued down because, you know, you pick things up and they fall. So there I am thinking, do I really want to use the sequins or not? And I did. So you can see I added some here. It's not super glittery. It's just a touch of gold. I thought it went well with that brownish green color, the pumice stone color. And that is that. That's the page I've completed. So I hope you enjoyed this. I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm looking to grab a few more subscribers. I'm at just over 500 now. I appreciate all your comments and your thumbs up. Whatever you can do, that's great. So thank you again. Again, this was for Christy's Beautiful Life, the Best of 30 Days Sketches. This is the sketch for June 9th. And head over to her Facebook page, Christy's Beautiful Life, and you can play along. There's a new sketch every day. So as I said, once again, thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll be back again soon. Have a great day.